Hey there, Coastal Bend meteorologist Carly Smith here. We are talking about storms that are really mostly out of the coastal bend, and I'll explain why we're not seeing the stormiest weather, why that's more shifted gears toward Houston. But if you have any comments, questions, concerns, if you're driving that way and want to know more, this Facebook Live, YouTube Live, whatever your platform you're watching on, this is for you. So I'm monitoring the comments on Facebook. So that's the best place to post comments if you want to interact. Otherwise, thank you all for watching. So here's a look at the latest radar imagery. We are seeing most of that activity well off to our east, right? That's where all the stormy weather is. That's where that's going to continue to be. We still have a chance for a few isolated showers. We've got some drizzle that's still taking place at times, but overall the forcing is out of our region. And so we are going to discuss more on why. So this is a closer look at Houston, where you're seeing thunderstorms on the satellite radar imagery. You can see the satellite imagery, the thicker white, the brighter white, that is the thunderstorms growing, which is always fascinating to me to see. But anyway, this is going to be the target zone, Houston, and especially north of Houston up toward College Station and along Interstate 45. So this model, probably overdoing it a little bit. If we go back, I didn't save the exact same view, but you can see storms are starting to get going between Matagorda Bay and Houston. That's where we're starting to see storms really starting to fire up, is a term that I like to use. And so again, I think this model overdoing it a little bit right there with that cluster toward Houston, but it's the one that I'm going to use to kind of forecast the rest of the day. So again, closer to lunchtime, that's going to be a big target zone for the Houston area. Not as much activity further to the south. So what you're seeing across areas just north of Aransas County, Port Lavaca area into Victoria, that is very light rain compared to what the rest of East Texas is going to be seeing. All of this energy really shifts into East Texas by this afternoon. We may even see a few breaks in our cloud coverage, giving us a little bit more sunshine, but still along the Interstate 45 corridor, that's the target still at 4:30, and then toward East Texas and into portions of Louisiana. There is a cold front that's going to slide south, and essentially that front is going to stall in our area. Then we get what looks like to me a coastal low still likely to form, and that's going to push the rain out of the area away from South Texas. But Friday morning, not only will we be dealing with rain, but we'll be dealing with some pretty dense fog as well. Hey Elizabeth, thanks for letting me know you're watching. But we're going to be dealing with some pretty dense fog that's going to develop Friday morning as our winds lighten. So that's something else that we will be watching. This front stays kind of stalled in the area, but the rain, as I said, pushes out with that low, and we're looking fairly dry for Saturday. I know the Rock and Roll Marathon taking place in San Antonio this weekend. Looks like dry conditions there. If the cloud coverage clears out for San Antonio, temperatures will be colder, but right now San Antonio is kind of right on the line of where the clouds are going to sit up Saturday night into Sunday morning. So it's a close call, but temperatures likely in the 50s. It would be upper 50s with the clouds, could be upper 40s without the clouds. So what we look at when we're looking at severe weather, there's four main ingredients. Wind shear is one. So that's the wind spinning and going different speeds throughout different layers of the atmosphere. Another one is going to be moisture, which we're right by the Gulf of Mexico, so we tend to always have a lot of moisture. The third one is going to be CAPE, or convective available potential energy, and that's what I'm showing you here. And then the fourth one are fronts. Fronts provide an additional lift or boost to overcome something known as the cap, which is an inversion in the atmosphere where the temperature actually gets a little bit warmer up above your head instead of always colder, and that inversion can sometimes inhibit storm development, which we don't have a cap today. That's not what we're really worried about, but along the front that would help boost the storms above the cap, and it just gives them an additional lift, an additional boost, more convection allowed to take place along fronts. So regardless, what our front is doing, what the warm front is doing, is allowing the convective available potential energy to heat up. Even without a whole lot of sun getting to the surface, we're getting those southerly winds that are increasing our available potential energy at the surface. So you do see areas, now I don't know these counties off the top of my head, but this is right here between San Antonio Bay and Matagorda Bay and kind of up toward the Victoria area. That is an area where there's going to be a lot of Cape heading into lunchtime. So that's kind of the target zone where some of these storms might start and then push into Houston. But overall, the Cape is a little misleading on where it's setting up compared to where the low-level jet is. And that low-level jet is what's going to increase the shear in the atmosphere that is needed for those storms to develop as well. So that's the turning winds or the wind speed changing with height. That low-level jet boosts that energy up. So anyway, we'll continue this. So you see the Cape really increasing closer to 4 p.m. This is still on the east side of Houston, but I think more so right along that line on the yellow and green to the blue Cape. I think that's where we're going to see more of the storms developing, is right on the edge of that Cape, where it's interacting with the different air masses that are in place. As the cold front slides in, notice we still keep a low amount of Cape as we head into Friday. That's going to allow our showers to develop. It's not really enough to get supercell thunderstorms, but it is enough to keep our atmosphere a bit unstable, and so we still have a chance for some rain during the day on Friday as the front stalls, and then with that low moving out, it takes a lot of that energy with it, and so I'm not really tracking any rain over the weekend. Let's see. Elizabeth said, hello back. Martin says, thanks for the update from Pawnee. If it did stir up in Victoria, about when would it start? Earlier in Victoria. So I have I don't think I have. I think this is the closest view that I have. So Victoria is going to be, we have Refugio County just north. So it goes where Corpus Christi is, that's San Patricio County. Then north of that is Refugio County. Then the one just to the northeast of where Refugio County is, so that's directly north of San Antonio Bay. That's where Victoria is going to be. And so, excuse me, it would be around lunchtime. But as you can see, where the low-level jet is, so I haven't gotten to that step of my description, but where the low-level jet is, that's going to keep the energy higher over Houston than, say, Victoria. So that's why I'm thinking the leading edge of that Cape is where we're going to see a lot of the stronger storms versus the back end of that Cape image. So I would say by 4, you're pretty much in the clear in Victoria. I wouldn't be too worried about much happening by then. So we'll go back to the Cape image. So you'll see here 11 between now and noon is kind of when I would be worried about Victoria, but really the forcing is already east of there, so I'm really not too concerned or worried about Victoria. I think it's going to be more so on the eastern edge of Victoria. So between Victoria and Houston, that's where I'm watching between now and really about 6 p.m. And after that, it shifts more so between Houston and Louisiana. So next on our list, this is the low-level jet. So the blue indicates some stronger winds. They're out of the south at 50 miles per hour. This is about 850 millibars or so up, which is about 5,000 feet or so into the atmosphere. And those winds are cranking, but they could be stronger. So this color contour actually goes up to green, and I think there's a yellow above that. And we start to see the jet really playing a role. Again, this is east of Victoria by 4 p.m. So it's going to be more so from, let me think of another place. Kind of like, I'm trying to think of known cities, but probably a little bit west of Katy. But it's going to be between Victoria and Houston, and then here, there's another graphic. So this one, Port Lavaca. Hold on, let's go back. I didn't hit set a pause point, but if we watch really closely, then it's going to be kind of Port Lavaca. That's a good starting point to Houston. And then north of there would be kind of like College Station, Huntsville. Those are kind of the target zones for that severe weather threat. For us, barely including portions of Aransas County and Refugio County, the latest update basically takes those counties out of the question. And you can really see that with where the weather has set up. So, I mean, right here, the storms, the forcing that line coming from the south to the north is already over Matagorda Bay. And so I don't really see anything happening east of there just because of where that low-level jet sets up. That really is the deciding factor, more so than the Cape. So where that higher end Cape is, that's kind of where the storms are right now, and then they're going to be pushed closer to Houston. We already have development in the Houston area as well. So like I mentioned, the low-level jet gets cranking a little bit more this afternoon. We get a little bit more heat from the sun, and so pretty much from Katy through Houston into the Louisiana border, that's going to be the 4 o'clock area to be watching. And then the low-level jet leaves and shifts gears more toward Louisiana. There's not a lot of Cape in that area, so the severe weather threat does start to go down, but that's where our storms will be. So, yeah, it looks like they lowered the risk. Yeah, so there's no longer an enhanced risk of severe weather, which is good news for the Houston area. It's been lowered. And I think the lineup of just seeing right now how the Cape is offset from where the low-level jet is cranking, that definitely, if those were more on top of each other, more centered over each other, that would be a greater indication of some of that stronger severe weather. But you've got to have all 4 of those factors working together to get the stronger storms, and they're close, but not quite. So it's good news that the level 3 enhanced risk has been taken out of the picture. So that's a new update that we got live. Let's see. I got out of Facebook, so let me make sure y'all don't have any more questions, and I'll continue on through my slides, and we'll say have a great day. Kingsville, I'm not worried about really anything in Kingsville. Fog is going to be a bigger issue tomorrow morning. Do you see in the long-term models any Arctic outbreaks? Honestly, Tara, I have not really been looking at that. I stay really focused, working first edition, I stay really focused on the day-to-day forecast. I want you to be able to get out the door and enjoy your day. And then I do obviously forecast 7 days out. Anything past 7 days is really difficult to latch onto and be confident in. So I kind of glance at it, but I don't focus on it. And so I really can't talk on that, at least not right now. But there are signs that do point to that, and a lot of that comes with the polar vortex. That's something you hear a lot. That's always up at the poles there, and there can be little pieces of energy from the polar vortex that break off, and that's when you hear about it. So that is some forecasting that I can do to get a better grip on that. But day to day, I don't focus on it, so I don't have a good answer for that question. I will say that because the low-level jet is shifting now toward Houston, our winds are actually looking a little bit lighter. They don't look as strong as they did yesterday. And so we're looking at 20 to 25 mile per hour gusts around lunchtime, possibly a rogue 30 mile per hour gust still possible, but then the winds start to lighten. I will say Port Aransas, Rockport, Ingleside, Flower Bluff, you still have a really good chance of those stronger wind gusts throughout the evening. And then we have a cold front moving through. So no storms along the front. It's going to stall in our area, but this front is, with it stalling, it is going to keep us with enough instability for a few showers on a Friday. But additionally, it is going to keep our winds light. So with lighter winds heading into Friday morning, I am concerned about fog. So this morning we had drizzle. Tonight, so this is 11:30, some fog likely to develop. As our winds continue to lighten, I expect dense fog in the area tomorrow morning. So I think that's the most important takeaway from this Facebook Live is dense fog tomorrow morning. Be prepared for that as our wind lightens into tomorrow. So here's the views now. It's clouds already trying to break now. Temperatures will heat up. We'll likely reach 80 degrees for our high. Our wind is strong right now. It's sustained at 22 miles per hour, so we are still dealing with some strong wind, but it doesn't look quite as strong. I don't think we're gonna get 40 mile per hour wind gusts, but Brownsville, Friday night. Oh yeah, we talked about that. Will they have rain? No. The rain will move out by Friday night, even from the coastal bend, and so that will take it north of Brownsville as well. So I don't see rain. Actually looks like pretty good conditions for Friday night football. For us here, we can get our temperatures, and Brownsville will be like a tad warmer. So 7:30 tonight, 73 degrees. Then with the front coming in, it's not going to have a big impact on our temperatures, but here's the rain Friday. So we got Friday 8 a.m., some rain in the area. Then the front stalls, we still have a chance for a little rain at 5 p.m., but that low is going to take it north, and that's going to take the rain out of the region. So I guess I can't zoom in or out right now on this model. Let's see. I do have a graphic that would show Brownsville. I don't know if I have the pause point set, but this is Thursday, Friday. So 2 p.m. the rain is out. This high-res model is trying to keep a little bit of rain along the coast, but the low I think will be too far north. I guess a very isolated shower can't be ruled out for Brownsville, but I wouldn't count on it. Drizzle, I think would be more likely, maybe fog or drizzle. We are still kind of getting a bit of moisture flow out of the south that we will be having to keep an eye on. And so you'll see that over the weekend, that's what's going to keep us cloudy. And then there is going to be a little bit of a chance for some rain heading into next week across South Texas. That would be middle to late next week. So that's what we have there. I'll go over our up close future cast one more time. High temperatures this afternoon nearing 80 degrees. Spotty shower possible, but all of the activity is going to be closer to Houston. Then as we continue right on along, fog. Fog develops this evening. That's going to be in the area as the front is sliding in. A few spotty showers as well on top of the fog. But overall, be ready for low visibility headed out the door tomorrow morning. Temperatures a little cooler with that front in place. Will be closer to 70 than 80 tomorrow. But overall, that's pretty much all we got. So in your 7-day forecast, we have a few showers on Friday, a little cooler Saturday and Sunday. Then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, some sun tries to peek through. We get slightly drier air coming in, but that's going to allow our temperatures to get colder, but we're still going to have some cloud coverage, so it won't be too cold. That's about all I have for y'all. I hope you have a terrific Thursday, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for joining.